Close your eyes. Imagine a world where the air smells of old papyrus, cedar wood, and the salt of the Mediterranean Sea. It is the city of Alexandria, 3 centuries before the Common Era. While the rest of the world rests in the cradle of dawn, here, the mind is wide awake. You are walking down a hallway of white marble. The moonlight spills through high arched windows, painting silver rectangles on the floor. There is no noise here, save for the distant rhythm of the waves hitting the harbor and the faint scratch of a reed pen against parchment somewhere in the shadows. You have entered the great library. Not just a building, but a dream. A dream to collect every single thought, every poem, and every star map ever drawn by human hands. It is the memory of the world, stored in 1,000 wooden pigeonholes. As you walk deeper, the walls seem to breathe with the weight of 500,000 scrolls. Every ship that entered the harbor was searched, not for gold or spices, but for books. The soldiers would take the scrolls, copy them with meticulous care, and keep the originals. They hungered for knowledge like kings hunger for territory. Think of the things lost to us now. On these shelves sat the lost plays of Sophocles, the secret histories of the pharaohs, and maps of lands that wouldn't be discovered for another 1,000 years. There were scrolls here that explained how the earth was round, and how the stars were not gods, but distant suns. If you sat here in this silence, you could hold the entire universe in your hands. The ink was made of soot and gum, but it carried the fire of human curiosity. In the center of the great hall stood the museum, the place of the muses. It wasn't a place for tourists, but a sanctuary for thinkers. Archimedes walked these halls, perhaps running his fingers along these very same scrolls. Eratosthenes sat in the courtyard, calculating the circumference of the earth with nothing but a shadow and a stick. The scholars lived here. They ate together in silence. They walked in the gardens discussing the nature of the soul while the sun set over the Pharos lighthouse. Can you hear the silence? It is a heavy, comfortable silence. It is the sound of a world that valued a scroll more than a sword. It is the feeling of being safe within walls built of ideas. Every shelf you pass is a different civilization. Persia, Greece, Egypt, India, all living together in the quiet dark. But dreams, like empires, eventually fade. We do not know exactly when the silence broke. Perhaps it was a fire, or perhaps it was simply neglect. The slow rot of time and the changing of tides. The scrolls turned to dust, the marble cracked, and the great minds moved on. But for tonight, the library is still standing. In your mind, the shelves are still full. The marble is still cool beneath your feet. The knowledge isn't gone, it is simply waiting in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. As the candle flickers one last time, the ink on the parchment fades into the shadows. The waves of Alexandria continue to lap against the shore, steady and eternal. Sleep now, for you are safe within the halls of history. The scrolls are tucked away, the doors are locked, the world is at rest.